So I hope everyone's well this morning. We're waiting on a few more attendees. As those of you that are already signed in know, we're going to be going over the 2021 product line. We have a couple of distinguished gentlemen here who will be assisting as the panelists. My name is Robert Sievens. I am here at Cressi, USA in Saddlebrook, New Jersey. Pleasure to be with you all. I have two of my colleagues joining as panelists. We have Theo, who is in Bonaire. Theo, you want to give a little blurb on who you are and why you're here?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. So my name is Theo, and it's true, I live in Bonaire since the last 20 years, and I've been working with Cressi ever since. So thank you, Robert, and I love being here to introduce some great products.
Excellent. Thank you, Theo. We also have Bilal, who is joining us. He is currently in Italy. He is our Africa and Middle East rep. Bilal, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm here now in Italy, in lockdown area, unfortunately. But I'm happy to share my experience and our professionality with our customers and colleagues around the world. And here we are to assist everyone request of information.
Excellent. Pleasure to have you both with us. Folks, as we go through these products, we're going to be speaking about the Neon. We also will be covering the Donatello, as well the Digi2, and ending the presentation by discussing a little bit about the interface that works with a number of our computers. So I'm going to start with the Neon. The Neon, there are numerous ways that you can pull up that information. You can search for the product information on our website, Cressi.com. As well, you can find the operating manuals and the support menu as well on the Cressi.com site. You can register your products under support menu at Cressi.com. And for those of you that are looking for the digital catalog on this particular product, you can find that on the salsify.com site. Please as well look at our YouTube channel where you'll see more in-depth videos describing the Neon. And that's the first product we're going to be speaking about. So gentlemen, thank you for joining me this morning. And we are going to open up the discussion with the Neon. I know you are both very familiar with it. I'd like to ask as a general question, what do you guys feel is the difference between the Neon and, let's say, the Newton, one of Cressi's previous products? So whoever wants to start, please feel free to...
Please go ahead.
Yeah. Well, and I know why you say this, Bilal, because you know that I really like to go free diving as well. Yeah. It's not just the scuba. So that's the answer. The first answer on your question, Robert. I really like the fact we have a full free dive mode on our scuba dive computer. So it's just air and nitrox. There is a gauge mode and off mode and a free dive mode. And depending, of course, what the flavor of the day is, I can pick my mode and I can go out there and I just need one computer that does it all. For me, that's a big plus.
Yeah,
correct.
That is. Bilal, any thoughts on the Neon?
About Neon, let's say that it has a lot of issues about the long life battery. That's around 4 years life battery, that you can replace it by yourself if you have a little bit familiarity with it. So you just buy the kit that our retailers has it. You can buy it from them and you can just replace it at home. If you don't have familiarity with that, just go to your retailer of trust and he can do it in really few minutes.
Sure.
And give it back to you. In difference to other computers on the market that you have to leave it there and they send it to the company for this kind of issue. So other than it is very a comfortable product for wearing each day. Even it's fashionable with the colors that it has. We have a lot of colors that you can combine it with the way that you are wearing. And after of that, we can say that it has big numbers that for people like me, for example, that has some little bit problems when you are underwater. So with the big numbers that it has, you really feel comfortable even during the dive.
Right, right. I go through the same thing, Bilal. I go through the same thing. So
those are the main differences towards the Newton. But just in general, I think it's important that people understand that since we make these computers ourselves in our own factories in Italy, the motherboard, the circuit board that actually is the core of the computer, is made in Italy under all the right quality control with components that are not just picked to make it a more affordable computer. This circuit board is something that, and I know that most users couldn't care less about it, but that makes the computer such a valuable, up-to-date piece of jewelry, because it's like you mentioned, or a backlight, and still have such a long battery life. That is only possible by having such a great circuit board, up to date.
Correct. And that's the reason why we used to keep an extra optional interface, Bluetooth, that you can use it. You can transfer your data from your computer to your laptop or to your smartphone, the Cressi application on your smartphone. So you can buy like optional an extra interface, Bluetooth interface that you can put it and you can transfer all your data on your laptop and smartphone.
Right, right. Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. So from a dealer's perspective, how do you see the this product? Do you think it's a good product that dealers can use from a rental perspective?
Both, yes, both from rental, because you can reset the data with the same interface, the Bluetooth interface that Bilal just mentioned. So you only need a few computers of these in stock to have a rental pool, because you can reset it. Big thing, Robert, we're in 2021. People have a smartphone, people have a GoPro, people expect to have electronics on their wrist. Also the older style divers, people who have built that industry for us, they now have electronics. And to have that in a watch style, our numbers prove that we outsell the bigger display computers big time with the watch style, because you can wear them as a timepiece. They have so much extra value.
We have a question from Liz from New Jersey. The question is, what kind of interface does it come with? We're going to touch on that in a little bit more detail soon, but while I've got you guys on, would you be kind enough to give Liz some insight?
So Liz, I do not know what your experiences are with interfaces. Most interfaces these days come with a cable, of course. And then there were USB, and ours is Bluetooth, and a little unboxing, proper unboxing in this webinar. It comes in this little box. It comes with a cable in case you want to use it, a USB cable. But in here is a small battery. What you need to do, you just, and I don't know if you can see it proper, but I just click this on my neon that I have on my wrist. I grab my phone, and on my phone, I go to the Cressi app, and it already starts communicating and downloads all my dice. So with this, I can have my logbook on my cell phone in the Cressi app that you can download from any iTunes or other account. And I would just recommend you to play with it a little bit and see all the full possibilities. It's really nice to be able to compare all your dives, or if you did the same dives a few times. Yes, very, very useful.
Excellent.
And Bilal, you said something about the battery, which I think is really important. You want to touch base on this?
Yeah, we said that it was our choice to do not put a lot of functions inside the computer more than usual, but to keep the more important that the divers, free divers or divers may use, just to can save the battery life, comparing to others on the market that they have a lot of issues inside that they are not necessary or that necessary for every divers. So So let's say that Cressi prefer to have more life batteries, that it can save money to the divers and save headache for the users as well. And they can activate only, and they can find only the software needed for their dive usually. Because like this, they can, more functions that is in the watch, less battery life has the watch. So we prefer to keep the most important software to can keep more life battery in the new computer.
Good point.
I'm sure, Bilal, that everybody knows as soon as your phone is almost out of battery, first thing you do, you kill the Bluetooth.
Exactly.
It can last for many more hours.
Yes, but yeah.
Guys, we have a poll which we are taking. I'm going to launch the poll so that our participants can vote. The question of the hour is, or of the moment is, what is your favorite neon feature? And there are multiple choices, but if you, those of you watching and attending, if you'd be so kind as to share your thoughts, we'll take a look and see what the participants say. All right, the poll is officially closed. And the 80% answer of the day is a watch-style dive computer with full free diving mode. That is the one feature that all of the viewers feel was the number one feature. In second place, actually, is kind of a tie for second between that I can choose my favorite gear color. That's a good one. It's important. And high contrast display with extra large numbers, as Bilal, as you were just saying. That's excellent. And then, of course, a strong backlight was the last option, but nevertheless, it is an important one. Great. Thank you guys so much. Next on the hit parade, we're going to discuss the Donatello. The Donatello. So a little bit about the Donatello, folks. All righty. Okay, so the Donatello, again, guys and ladies and gentlemen, if you look on the Cressi.com website, you'll be able to search for the product information as well. There is where you can find the operating manual, and under the support menu is where you can register your Donatello computer. And if you again need a digital catalog, look at the salsify.com site where you can pull up the Donatello and have that digital catalog available. Last but not least is the YouTube channel. Very important. We've been putting out some phenomenal videos speaking about the products and giving you guys some really good insight. All right, so moving on to the Donatello panelists. And let me not forget that we also have the Donatello, which comes in the console version, as you can see here, with just the compass or with a depth gauge as well, pressure gauge as well. So you have many options on this computer. It's an awesome new computer, and I'd welcome your thoughts on this. Theo, we started with you a moment ago. Bilal, why don't we start with you this time?
Yeah, here we go. So let's say that Donatello, it has most of the features that Neon as well has. And the main difference between both of them, that Donatello, you can use it just when you are going for diving. You cannot keep it on your arm all the time, like a watch, because once you go out from the water after two couple of minutes, it will switch off alone, because it switch on when you jump to the water and it switch off when you get out of the water. So for this reason, sure, you can switch it on manually when you are going to take your data. You can put it in your notebook if you want to put it in your notebook, just written like before. Or you can switch it on when you want to transfer your data with always interface to your smartphone or to your laptop.
Yeah, I agree with that. So is that one of the reasons you think that one button menu is so popular?
It's very easy to surf in the computer because there is just two issues that you may do with the one button, or to click it fastly or to keep it clicked for a couple of seconds to can go from one menu to the other. So it's very, very easy to can manage always under the water and during the dive as well.
So I guess, yes, you kind of answered that second question as far as the free dive mode, which is an option there. Theo,
Yes.
question for you. You can reset the Donatello, like for instance, when you use it in a rental pool. So what's the difference between the Donatello and the Leonardo?
There are several small differences that you as a user might not immediately see, like there's a phenomenal backlight and other things. The biggest difference, like with this is an update in the circuit board. So this battery lasts longer, the backlight is much better, it has new modes, like the free dive mode. Most free divers think about free diving like something really competitive, very deep, but most people that take snorkeling a little bit more serious and like to submerge and are a little bit more adventurous, like diving a little bit down to the bottom to see the fish a bit better, that's free diving. For that, you need to have a free dive mode, because if you do that with your scuba depth gauge in scuba mode, it will count as a scuba dive and it might upset the whole circus of diving for the rest of the day.
That's true. So, good point.
So even people that do not think as free diving as one of their gigs, they're doing it already.
That's right.
And they might be even very good in it. And with the free dive mode on the new Donatello, you can even check what you're doing, how long you're there, because it's a higher sampler rate. And when you then use your Bluetooth interface and you lock your free diving and you check it on your phone app, then you can exactly see what your profile was. And you could not do any of these with the Leonardo.
Exactly.
Which by the way, we never took anything away from the Leonardo. We just added to it to make it the Donatello. So all these thousands of people that have a Leonardo gave us a good review. Thank you very much. We never took anything away. We only added to it.
To make the new product and make it a more advanced product.
Exactly.
Yes, it is.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, guys. Guys, I'm going to launch the second poll. The question at hand is, which Donatello features do or would you regularly use? And choose all that you would use. If you'd be so kind, folks, answer on. All right. Where are we? We have 66% of the participants already have voted. And it looks, folks, as if we've got a tie. The nitrox mode and the free diving mode are tied for first. Those are the two features which are seen as two of the more valuable features. And then tied for third and fourth are temperature and dive planning. So very good features, all four. But yes, I do agree with those, with the participants' choices. Nitrox and free diving mode, very, very important.
Well, one more thing.
Sure.
Donatello, I just want to make this really clear for our listeners, users. If you have a Donatello or you're considered to buy one, the Donatello in the console and the wrist one that I have here, the big display wrist one, are the same computer. The only difference is a wrist strap. So you can always, if you're not sure, you can upgrade later by taking off the wristband or the other way around.
Correct.
Just want to touch that.
Correct. Good point, Theo. It is the same computer. It's just a matter of how do you feel more comfortable using it?
Yes.
Wearing it on your wrist or having it connected to a hose that's connected to your regs. Absolutely. Good point. Thank you. Gentlemen and panel and participants, we're going to move this along. Let's start talking about the Digi2, the latest and greatest.
Wow.
Yes, phenomenal new product. Again, folks, on the Cressi.com website is where you will be able to find all the product information as well as the operating manuals. Again, under the support menu at Cressi.com is where you'll find the registration for that product, and the digital catalog, as with the others, is on the Salsify.com website. This is one product where I strongly urge you to look at the YouTube, Cressi's YouTube channel, and see the videos that we've created to really break down the features of this phenomenal new tool. Okay, so here's my question, panelists. Is this a computer or is this a gauge? Which one is it?
Theo, do you think it is a computer?
Theo, go for it.
The only thing it misses is the algorithm that tells you how much nitrogen you have left in your blood after a dive, which is an important feature of a computer. That's why we call it a computer. It has an algorithm. The Digi2 does not have an algorithm, but it does all the other things. First of all, air integrated. It tells you how much air you have, how deep you are, what your maximum depth was, temperature, dive time. It even gives you the range in minutes, the amount of minutes left at that depth where you're diving at that very moment. Well, so it is a digital console, like the name it says. And it's good that you ask this first, because I just want to clarify that it's not a computer. It's everything that you had, plus a lot of extra things. I think personally, like going from a horse collar to a jacket, BCD, the Cressi, when we started to do the nose pocket in a mask, everybody does it now, of course, because it makes so much sense. Now we start to do an analog. From the analog, we move to a digital console because it makes so much sense. I will predict that in some years from now, 5, 6, 7 years, people don't want to have an analog anymore. Like everybody has a cell phone. People have to get used to it a little bit. Some people were trying to not do it, but now you can't live without it any longer. I think this makes much more sense than any analog gauge that doesn't give you so precise the information that you need, or it's either in bar or it is in PSI, and etc. etc. It has a lot of extra features. Bilal, you want to say something about it?
Yes, Bilal, be so kind, please. Talk to us, Bilal, if you'd be so kind, about how you would change the from metric to imperial.
Sorry, Rob. I asked Theo to do it, since that he has the instrument in your hands. It's more easy to can show our customers how to do it.
First of all,
I got questions for you later then.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm not run away.
I saw this one coming, of course. I'm prepared. You go to page number 36 of your booklet. If you don't do books, go online and just Google for the manual. And what you will see is you have your protective smart cover that comes with the Digi2 to protect the screen, but it has the little magnet in here, as you can see with my finger. The magnet is normal-wise positioned like this. What you now do, you need to turn it around and you touch the Digi2. It will automatically start to reset, goes through the testing phase to check if the Digi2 is airtight, so water can get in there. As soon as it's done, it will tell me pass. Then I have to do this once more. Second time, I have to do this 3 times. And after resetting the Digi2 3 times, it will come up in different units. So was it metric before? It's imperial. And I can do this as often as I want. Obviously not underwater, at the surface. Very simple. You need a magnet, and that's why there's a magnet on your smart cover.
So changing the units can only be done while you're at the surface.
Yes, absolutely.
Very good, very good. Another question, as far as changing the battery, is that as easy with the Digi2 as it is with some of the other computers that we have?
Yes, let's say it's more easier than the dive watches, because the dive watches, you have the 2 small screws that you have to unscrew to can change your battery. Let's say Donatello and Digi2, they have just a battery cover in ABS that you can just turn it on, turn it off, and you can change your O-rings. You can check that the O-ring is okay. You replace your battery, and once you close your battery cover, automatically the Digi2 makes a waterproof test. It makes the waterproof test to can be sure that it's totally sealed and no water get in. After that, you change your battery. And once you close totally the battery cover, automatically on the screen, it's written test, because the console is making the waterproof test. If everything is perfectly done and sealed, so it's written passed. So your console, it's done, it's ready to can go underwater. If it's not okay, it will come error. So you have to open again your battery cover and to check that everything's done properly.
And another question to you, Bilal, since I've got you speaking about that. Do you think that this instrument, the Digi2, is a bit more vulnerable than a traditional gauge?
Absolutely not. It's more durable, let's say, because all the parts of the console, usually we have spare parts for it. So you can replace, the screen is anti-shock screen. You have the board, it's anti-shock. The rubber of the back of the console, you can replace it in case that it was broken somewhere against rocks or on the boat. So there is several spare parts that it allow you to can keep it longer, because the analog one, if it takes some hit on the screen, or it can be there is the salt that it goes inside the sensor, or some water leak inside, you have to throw it away directly.
Right, right.
Can I add something?
Sure.
Which is maybe more for a dealer's perspective, but what's important first, indeed, because it's smaller, streamlined, it's less vulnerable for hitting and for getting bent and crashing, etc. But the dealers have to replace gauges in their traditional analog consoles. 9 out of 10 times it's the pressure gauge, because people accidentally rinse without a dust cap, water gets into the high pressure hose, and the residue in the water will make sure that the gauge stops working. So you still have whatever bar or PSI left while it's actually empty. This is potentially dangerous, and obviously a good reason to replace your gauges after whenever that happens, sooner or later. The Digi2, on the other hand, whatever happens, if there's a slightly amount of water entering the hose, it will meet up with a little ceramic disc here. The ceramic disc in the Digi2 transports the high pressure reading into a digital reading. So if there's some water or residue touching this ceramic plate, it will never ever damage your gauge. So your gauge will always be precise. And so because of that alone, you don't have to replace stuff and it won't break. And that's the biggest issue why it's much more durable.
So, Theo, if I may, one last question regarding something that I think many students, as we've all been at some point, just get used to on a regular analog gauge. You can see the little red line. You can see when you're getting close to that red line, which kind of says to you, hey, it's time to end this dive. How would you compare that to the Digi2?
Yes, that's true. That's a good one, and obviously gave that a lot of thought and came up with a brilliant solution. There's only one thing: as an instructor or a dive guide, you need to inform people, if they're new with the Digi2, that they need to take notice of the fact that as soon as you enter your reserve, let's say 50 bar, since we're an Italian company, the amount of air left in your tank will start blinking. So instead of a steady number, you will see a blinking number, which is hard to miss. And because of the blinking of the number, you know, oh, I entered my reserve, something is changing. Of course, it's the same like going in the red. I like it. The red is very clearly dangerous. You need to stop your dive and abort the dive and surface. Same here, it starts blinking. It's a clear sign for you as a diver that you're entering. Yeah, there's no way you can't notice that. It's really very clear, Robert. Good question.
Excellent, excellent. Guys, I've got another poll for our participants. The question at hand is, which feature do you appreciate the most in the Digi2? Participants, if you'd be so kind, please vote. So, yeah, more information than a traditional style console.
Absolutely.
Which is everyone is choosing that, as well as the extra information that you don't have on a traditional gauge, like temperature, range, etc. Absolutely, I agree with that. In third place, smaller, less drag underwater, and less stuff to carry around. Good. Next is more precise reading than any analog style console. Absolutely. And no one voted on this, but I absolutely agree with this. Looks better design and color options. Okay, come on. You know, you got to look good. You got to look good when you're underwater.
And you're very right. You're very right. Because if you have nice blue BSD, blue wetsuit, why not have a blue Digi2?
That's right. That's
a lot of
right.
people are inspired just by the looks of it. Like, hey, what is that? And they don't even know what it is, and they think they want to. Sure.
But they know it looks good and it'll match with their outfit. Absolutely, I agree.
Maybe they are thinking that once they are underwater, the colors it's disappearing. So maybe I don't know.
So I missed one question before, and I understand that question before. Could have been in the neon and also in the Donatello. We have to understand that for a variety of reasons, it's not just how nice the product is or the quality, it's the price quality. The Digi2 is a phenomenal product for the amount of money that you have to pay for it. I think that's important. From a user perspective, I would love to have the best of the best, but if you can't afford it, you know, why is it the best of the best? Now, we have all these features, and then it's a very normal price. Same with the Neon. Phenomenal price quality.
A free diving watch on the market like Neon, you will not find it.
I agree with both of those points. I do agree with that. Participants, any questions from you? We've only gotten one question from Liz from New Jersey. We are open to any questions, so please type them in and send them over to us. Folks, we're going to move on to our last product of the morning, and it's going to be with a little bit more detail. We're going to speak about the interface, the Cressi interface that's used on quite a number of the computers that we are using. Give me a moment here, just trying to put the screen up in front of you so that you can take a look at the docking station. Again, folks, on the Cressi.com website is where you'll find the product information, the operating manuals. The support menu at Cressi.com is where you can register this product, and if you need access to a digital catalog on the Salsify.com website. Last, let me remind you once again that our YouTube channel has quite a number of awesome videos on our products. There's one as well on the docking station and how it's used. And let's go to the panelists for this last product and hear their thoughts on this. Bilal, if you'd be so kind, you want to start us off?
Yes, sure. Let's say that our interface, it's very clever, smart interface, because just with one, you can use it for all the family. Let's say if you are 5 members of the family, each one he has his own computer. Let's say I have Goa, you have Neon, and somebody else has Cartesio. You can use the same interface, and the interface automatically recognizes the computers that you can change the name of the computer. Instead of Cartesio number, serial number, you can write Bilal, you can write Robert, you can write Theo. And once you are putting the interface on it, automatically recognize which computer it is. And once you transfer your data, the data that you see, it goes automatically under Bilal, or it goes under Rob, or it goes under Theo.
It's very good title. Very good.
Yes, exactly.
Very good. So I guess that kind of answers my question. Why isn't there Bluetooth inside the Cressi computers? This interface allows you to use it on any of the computers, and it will distinguish which item you're using when it downloads that profile information onto your mobile or PC.
Correct. But let me say that there is 2 sizes of the interface Bluetooth. The interface of Neon, Cartesio, and Goa, it doesn't fit Donatello, because Donatello is bigger screen, so you have to take the interface for Donatello.
Got you. Very good. And Theo, I've got a question for you. So my question has to do with rental computers linked to the same app. Why sell it separate instead of adding it to the adding it standard to the computer?
Well, not adding it to the computer is what Bilal answered. The battery consumption of Bluetooth in general needs to be a separate product. Besides that, it will mean extra cost. Now, this dealer has, let's say, 8 Donatellos in his rental pool. You only need one of these. This is actually the box, looks the same, slightly bigger. I hope you can see it like this. And here is the slightly bigger interface. You click it on your Donatello, and maybe you can see the lights blinking because I just turned it on. You have a little green and a little red light. It will start communicating with my smartwatch or with my smartphone, and it will tell me, hey, this is Donatello Rental 1. It will download its log. I can reset it or can do my things, whatever I want, or on the regular computer with help of the cable. And with 8 rental computers, I only need one interface. So I'm saving money here instead of having the same interface built in any computer and pay for that, because that's just how it works, of course.
Absolutely.
So that's also one of the many reasons why the Donatello price quality is, I believe, much better than a lot of other computers out there.
I agree with that.
And there's beautiful Italian stuff like the Ferrari. For almost everything you need a car for, that might not be your best choice. There are much more affordable, better Italian options for a lot of things you want to do.
Well, maybe more affordable, but I think everything else stops there. Gentlemen, we have one more poll question, if I'm not mistaken. Let's. Nope, actually, that was my last poll question. I'm so sorry. Thank you very much. We are getting to that magical hour where it is time to, for one, ask the participants if they would be so kind as to take the thank you survey and let us know what they thought of this presentation today. We have a number of additional presentations in lines coming up. Just going over the newest products that we've launched for 2021. We hope that you will join us on those upcoming presentations and have your questions ready as you start to see the emails coming out, because we want to hear your thoughts on any of these products to see how we can make them bigger and better. So with that said, I want to thank our panelists. Bilal, thank you so much. And Theo, thank you as well for joining us. A pleasure to have you both. Participants, thank you again. We appreciate your time. And please do take that thank you survey. It does help us a lot in how we move these types of presentations forward and any thoughts you may have on these products. On behalf of my colleagues here at Cressi, we want to thank you. Signing off. Have a wonderful, safe day and enjoy the year. Peace out.
See you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.